Hello, my name's Carole. Welcome to my sewing room. Today I'm going to show you how I embroider on my Brother machine. I have recently been doing a lot of embroidery onto jersey fabric for my daughter. And this is a dress that she bought off Vinted, and I've so far put one design on there, but she wants two more either side. So as I had to do that, I thought I would show you how I actually go about doing it. Now, I am not an expert. I certainly have not been doing this long. I've been doing it about a year now, but whatever I'm doing now seems to work. So I'm kind of sticking with it. And because a lot of you have asked me how I actually do it, I thought I would show you. Now, I am very methodical in my working because, as I said before, what I'm doing right now is working. So I'm making sure I'm doing it exactly in the same structure every time I do it. Now, I want to put on this design. Now, this design I've actually bought from Etsy. This one is unloaded on my machine. I've got the Brother M380D, and the D stands for Disney. So it has got a lot of Disney designs on it. But I wanted more. She wants 3 piglets on this, so I had to buy some more. That means when I do this one, this is on the machine, so it tells me exactly what colours I need. But this one is going to be difficult because the colours that it says to use aren't the same as the colour threads that I'm using. They're a different brand, and that's when you've got to kind of use your judgment. So on the Brother machine, I use the Brothread, and I actually got a good selection here when I started off. I haven't run out yet, but I keep them kind of numerically in this box, this box is amazing. Honestly, I bought it from Amazon. It's got the tray for the bobbins, and then you've got the different layers. So this is the thread guide they've given me for the first one. And obviously, because I've got a piglet on this one, I'm going to have to try and make sure I match the colours for each individual component. So I'm going to do that now and show you how I actually then sort out the threads. If you can see here behind, I've got a spare thread spool holder. So what I do, every time I go through the list and the order that I've got to work it, and I take the thread out and I will put it on the first, and then the second, the third, the fourth. So I've got all the threads there in order that I know I have to use them. And you'll see as I'm going through, once I've used one, I then put it down on the slot. So I've got a good visual image of which threads I've used and which one is next and how many I've got to go. I'm finding that is working. When I first did it, I had threads everywhere and I couldn't remember which one was next and whatever. But using this empty thread spool holder has been a game changer for me. So I've probably chosen the most tricky design to demonstrate to you. But what I didn't notice about this particular piglet is that all the shading on it, in my opinion, unnecessary shading. So I'm going to keep it very simple and use the same colours from this. Just one pink and then one pink. Anyway, that's more than you need to know really. So here we go. I've got all the pinks lined up here. I've got 2 spaces where I've written down my numbers here so I can keep track, and also got 2 spaces where I'm going to reuse this pink here. So I know I've got 2 spaces where I'm just using colours I've used before, and then ends in the black. So now the next thing I do is to actually put this on a frame. I don't put it in the frame, I actually float the t-shirt on a frame. So I'll show you how I do that. So I have here obviously what I want to embroider. I've got the 4-inch frame because that's the size of my machine. I've got the grid that you use. I have also got some, I think you call that painter's tape or something, removable tape, stick and spray. Here I've cut 2 pieces. I first of all use a cutaway, and this is the Brothread stuff. a cutaway, but I also use some tearaway stuff as well. I'm sorry, I don't actually know, it's a massive roller that I got right back at the beginning, but I use 2 stabilizers now. So first thing I will do is actually put those 2 stabilizers. So the tearaway is on the bottom and the cutaway is in the going uppermost, and I will force this into the frame for you, making sure it's tight. I might have to pause filming while I do that. Okay, it's in. I'm just pulling it all around to make sure it's secure. I think it's okay, and then I will tighten this as much as I can. Sometimes I use an actual screwdriver to do this, but that doesn't seem too bad. Check the back. Oh, got a bit of extra there. Check that. Make sure it's all firm. On the design, I've already plotted out, I don't know if you can see that, but I plotted out the marks where I want the next design to go. So if I show you, I've plotted 4 marks on this. That will be the center of the design, and I've got the 4. So I'm going to pop those dots onto here. So I insert the grid, and with my removable pen, I'm going to make the same marks of the grid. So the center of the design is going to match where I want the center on the t-shirt. Before I do that, however, I'm going to put the stick and spray on this as I'm what they call floating the design. What I actually do is because I don't want the sticky stuff to go on the frame, I actually use some of this tape to cover the frame so it doesn't get stuck. So I literally just put it around the outside. Oops, there goes the pen. So when I first started doing it, of course, all the glue goes all around here, and it's not great. So this just gets removed afterwards, but what it does is just stops the glue going on the actual frame. There we go, like that. So now I'm going to spray a light layer to the frame. Okay, this stuff is a magic. Now I'm going to pick up the design, and I'm going to put one finger over each of the top and the bottom dots. As I said, this is probably not how lots of people do it, but this is how it's been working for me. So I've got my thumbs on those 2 dots, and then I will put my thumb on those 2 dots there. I'm then going to just pop and make sure that center dot's there. That dot there, yeah. Then I'll try and line this dot up, put my finger on it on the inside, line there. And this is the fiddly, I have to admit, this is fiddly. And then I've got to smooth it all out. So smooth out all the jersey on top. Just keeping an eye on making sure that those dots are still in the right place. As you can see, I've got lots of wrinkles at the moment. I'm hoping you can see this. There we go. All the way up to the top. Right, just making sure things are square, smooth, feeling stuck down. I'm just going to keep my eye on that dot there, yeah, that dot, hoping that dot's right, and that one is perfect. Okay, so as I've done that fairly quickly, I'm hoping that the glue will have stayed. Now, I don't know if this is what you're meant to do, but as I said, this has all been working for me. I pin it in the very 4 corners just to make sure it's all stable. I've been using these kind of long pins. They seem to work better for me. So I put it all the way through Stabiliser. I don't know if this is necessary, but I just feel a bit safer if I know I'm just pinning it all together as well. So I just pin in all 4 corners because I know my design is not going to go anywhere near these pins. corner. I find I have to lift the design because it's not easy, but right. Okay, so you can see the dots all lining up nice and straight in the frame. I've got nothing underneath. I've got the pins securing it. Now what I will do is actually put all this into the sewing machine. Obviously, embroidering something is so much easier when it's not constructed together as a whole garment. It's better to do it first, but obviously this is a garment that I am embroidering, so makes it a little more tricky. I'm going to call up the design that I've got. It's actually on this USB stick. That's how it's loaded on. So I'm just going to find it now. If I go into USB and then go through the ones I've actually got, and I'm looking for my Piglet one. Piglet Star, wasn't it? Piglet Ski. Was it that one? Let's have a look. Press set. Yeah, that's the one I'm after. So it should be quite a small design, this one, I'm hoping. Now, I'm going to put the thing in. Now, as I said, this is not the easy bit, because I've got to get all this dress under here, making sure that I don't get any of the fabric trapped underneath, which is what I have done on many occasions. So let's clip that in. Okay, now move everything out of the way. I've got to check the dress at the back, I check it at the sides, make sure there's nothing tucked underneath. No, that's okay, that's okay. Right, now I want my needle to line up with that centre dot, so this is when I can move the arrows to create that. I'm just going to budge it up a little bit, maybe across a bit. I think that's, so that needle is going to come right on that centre point now. I'm now going to find out how big the actual design is going to be. So I've got a button which is a little sort of square, and I will press that and it will show me how big it's going to be. So it goes all the way around, and I think that's going to be right, and then it should go back to the centre again. Perfect. I'm going to go with that, so I'm going to press OK. Now press embroidery, and this is when it starts to tell me the colours. Now if this was a design that was actually on the machine, the colours would be exactly, because I got Brother Threads, Brother Machine, it'd be the same, but it isn't because I've had to do my own, but I've got it all lined up ready. This little tiny little picture here tells me which bit it's going to do first, and luckily this design that I bought actually shows it all in order as well, so I don't have to rely on this tiny little picture. So, threading, take my first one and I pop it on, and I thread it really carefully because I've done it wrong so many times. Up and down, around there. With this machine, I hold my thumb here and then cut it off, because it's got one of these magical levers that comes down and threads it for me. Obviously you've always got to pull the last little bit, and I will just cut it off so it's a bit shorter. Then put the foot down, and then this is where I have to feel very brave. I normally check everything again, and I will go through the first colour. Now it's telling me it's a 20-minute program, so I will not show you the whole 20 minutes. I'll show you how it starts off, and then I'll show you little bits and bobs as I go, especially when I have to change the colour. So here we go. And it's off. So I've come to the end of the first one, that's 3 minutes. I'm going to change the thread now, so I know the next one on my list is there. You can't quite see that, but it's on there. So I do this exactly the same every time. I cut the thread there, lift the foot, pull out the thread, move this down to the, if I can move it there we go, then move it down onto the first one so I know what the first colour I used. Get the next one, load it up. And thread it the same. Put my finger there to secure it. Thread it by magic. And I'm ready for thread number 2. I'm on the last one now, which seems always to be the black outlining, and this is when I love to see the actual design, because until you get to this point it's just blocks of colour and it's the outlining that makes it. Now I'm just going to show you something with this machine. Sometimes if the threader doesn't work, if I move the needle up slightly, I find it goes in, because sometimes that needle doesn't return just high enough, but all it needs is just a little tweak on the wheel and it will thread. So this also is the bit that gets me the most nervous, because it's a very concentrated design and now the black is going to go over the top of it. So that can get a bit hairy and gets a bit noisy at times, but we'll just have to watch and see how it goes. But this is the bit I like and I don't like. Okay, he's all done. So I can now lift the foot and prise it out and have a good look. There are lots of threads that need to be cut, so never let that put you off a design. But I don't think that's too bad at all. As I said, lots to cut off, so I'll give it a good trim up now. So last thing we've got to do now is remove the design. So I'm going to remove the 4 pins first, and then try and find the hoop underneath and unscrew the thing, pop out the frame. Then I've got these sticky bits here that I've got to remove, haven't I? So I can remove the top part of the frame. So need to pull all that off. That's all that rubbish. Pull that out. So I've got this is the back, always looks a bit messy. I've got the tearaway here, so I'm going to tear away as much as I can of that. And then, of course, I'm going to cut as close as I can to the design. I'm quite pleased with it, I have to say. It is quite a cutie. So I will then take my scissors and, oh my goodness, do I do this carefully. I try and pull it as far as I can, and as I say, I do this very carefully with little scissors, and I go around as close as I dare to the actual design. How much cutaway fabric stabiliser I leave on there isn't going to matter too much, because I do put something over the top, which I will show you in a minute. But I'm just cutting around the design now. Rid of all that, so that's all I have left, and I will probably keep that amount. So there he is. Now all I will need to do is just, before I give this to Katie, I will put some stuff on the back, and I will iron on this Tender Touch by Sulky, and it's just a really soft, smooth kind of interfacing. So I will cut a section of that and I will pop it on the back, and that protects it from the skin, really stops it being so scratchy. This also, I have learnt, if you cut a patch out and with plain scissors, it does tend to unravel and come off the clothes. But if you cut it in pinking shears, just having that extra little bit of grip does seem to make it stay on after all the washes. So I hope you enjoyed that. I've now got to go on and do one more design here, and then this dress is done. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed watching me do some embroidery. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you've got any questions, please ask me in the comments, and I will say it once more, but I am not an expert in this, but I'm very much learn as I go. When I first got this machine, I did put out a couple of videos, and it was really me sorting out the machine and how to use it, but I have got a little bit better with it, so I thought I would do this video for you. Any questions, please ask me, but thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you all soon. Bye bye for now.